Well, it's different to speculate on this because this is kind of bilateral, indirect talks between the US and Iran. We expressed our interest that these talks should continue, and we also said that Israeli strike happened exactly to undermine these kind of efforts, not only in these formats, but in some other formats, efforts to find solution to all the controversy around Iranian nuclear program. And we, of course, favor the way of diplomacy and restraint. Well, he pointed out to media reports about the fact that Israeli jets found refuge in British bases in Cyprus after the attack, after the threat of Iranian retaliation was clear. It's very hard to verify this. Also, there are claims that the drones that were brought there in Iran several months before the attack, so the MI6 also participated there. These are media reports. We can't say that they are verified, but there are a lot of things that indicate that Britain is involved. It's very perverted logic, I would say. Of course, every country has the right to defend itself, but in this case, Israel launched an aggression, an attack against Iran, totally violating and breaching UN Charter and international law. I don't think how it can be, really can't imagine how it be framed as legitimate self-defense. So it's some twisted logic, I think. Well, nobody, I think, should deny to Iran the right to peaceful exploration of nuclear energy and its usage for peaceful purposes. And that's what Iran is speaking about. Iran has repeatedly denied any plans to create nuclear bomb, and it's the most verified country in the world with the help of IAEA. And I think IAEA also was not saying that Iran is about to develop nuclear capabilities. This is interpretation, twisted interpretation from Israel and from some of its allies. So we don't support this kind of logic that some of the American representatives try to promote. It's hard to assess it right now because we are only 24 hours, maybe a little bit more, since the beginning of this crisis, and there are different factors indicating that, of course, United States and other Western countries like the UK, Germany, France, actually participants in the JCPOA, they were notified, they were aware of it. But it doesn't directly imply that they are participating and that they are participating in the efforts to shield Israel from Iranian attacks. I know that retaliatory attacks. I know that there are some specialists indicate that the fact that Iranian missiles this time penetrated the Israeli defense system, maybe it indicates that US was not at least as actively involved as it was involved during the previous exchange between Israel and Tehran several months ago. But again, these are mere speculation at this point. I think we should wait for the opinion of the experts and more information. Again, we don't have information about direct involvement of the United States in these kind of attacks, and I also should indicate that immediately after the launch of these attacks, President Trump distanced himself from this, saying that Israel was doing it on its own. I don't know what is the final position of the United States, but I haven't heard any confirmation from their officials that the United States are directly implicated in this attack. So I think we should be cautious, but at the same time, we totally support Iranian position about the fact that this is absolutely inadmissible and that nobody should be permitted to act as Israel does, and this is a total neglect and very dangerous provocation against international law, against everything that really keeps our world together, and it can trigger very, very serious consequences regionally and internationally. Well, they are a bit, hypocritical here. On the one hand, they are not saying that Iran doesn't have the capacity and right to develop peaceful nuclear program. This is the core of JCPOA. But at the same time, and the NPT, as you know, it also involves the possibility to develop a peaceful nuclear program. On the other hand, they are very much agitated and they are very much carried away by the reports that Iran has enriched uranium until 60%. And this is one step before creating nuclear weapons. There are a lot of these alarming reports denied by Iran totally, but very much promoted by Israel. So I think that Western countries, they don't want to directly refer now to the right of Iran to pursue peaceful nuclear program. They are more concentrated on the negative side of this story, at least in their interpretation, that Iran allegedly wants to create a nuclear bomb. And that's what very much what Israel tries to spread these days. Well, it's difficult for me to assess what Washington is capable of, but I can tell you that during the Security Council meeting where I was present, everybody called for de-escalation. But the question is, does this mean that in the opinion of Western countries, for example, Iran doesn't have the right to retaliate? That was not clear from what they were saying. And some of them also expressed preoccupation with the fact that Iran was exactly at that moment launching retaliatory attacks towards Israel. So I think that this is a bit ambiguous on behalf of them. And we were referring to this in our statement, that some of Israel's partners might be hypocritical and denying to Iran the right to retaliate under the provisions of Article 51 of the UN Charter. I don't think it's the first time when President Macron is expressing conflicting views and positions. I think it's up to the French people and French electorate to give assessment to this.